Welcome to Thriving in Abundance Talk. Of course, it's a Tuesday afternoon, so we've got our Woman Thrive series. Namhlanje ntambama, I have the pleasure and honor, and of course, joy of hosting my prayer partner sometimes, a member of Sick Fest sometimes, but of course, namhlanje ntambama sihleli naye as the acting chief procurement officer for Transnet Port Terminals. Siyakubingelela dadewethu sisi Thandi Sabelo.
Siyabingelela dadewethu, my PP, Women Thriving platform. Siyabingelela sisodwa. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, it's only a pleasure. It's only a pleasure. It is time for women to thrive. This is the reason why we are hosting Woman Thrive. Sis Thandi, just briefly tell us about where you come from. Angiyazi ukuthi uvela ngapha go Eastern Cape Magwayi. Singasasho ke ugwayi. So tell us a little bit about your background, my sister.
Yes, so Thandi Sabelo, njengoba usishilo uMagwayi, uMamthembu, uMvelase, sisuka le Eastern Cape, from East London, basically started staying in Mdantsane, Elokishini, and then moved to East London, where we stayed at Vincent. I come from that background, and I come from a background of women, I must say. I had three mothers. My grandmother was my pillar, my everything, and my mother and my sister's mom. Those were the three women in my life who raised me to be who I am. And, you know, I grew up with a number of cousins around me, whom, as you would know, Getina, we call them sisters and brothers. We never say they're cousins. So I was raised with cousins as brothers and sisters. But I was my grandmother's daughter through and through.
Yeah.
So much so that I followed her wherever she went. At some point, she got to be a principal, Egma Farmer, near Kinglandstown. I went to stay there with her.
Yeah. All right. Power to the ladies.
Yes, power to the ladies. I've always believed in that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing. I know recently, because on Sunday it was International Girl Child Day. So I've happened to find a picture of myself, my mom, and my aunt, Mamncane, just like you. Those are the people that were very instrumental in raising me up. It's just amazing. Wow. What women are capable of, and I'm just so grateful for having this opportunity of co-hosting this series, which is called Woman Thrive, because indeed women are the backbone of society. I do know as well, you went to my baby sister went to the same school, Thandi Seminary. Tell us about that phase of your life.
In fact, that was, if there's one thing that I always thank my grandmom and mom for is for taking me to Thandi Seminar. And it was by chance, you know, as a sort of, because I was never one of those kids that was raised by a husband and wife. And so we plan that, you know, these kids are going to go here next year, grade 8. No, I was never like that. Yeah. There were riots in East London at the time. And it was clear, and it was going on. I mean, it was times of Moko. So at the time, there was riots, and it was clear the following year that schools were not going to open because they were destroyed. So my parents just decided, you know, we're taking this one out of here, out of the province. And then that's how Inanda happened, really. Okay. So I found myself in Thandi Seminary, far away, where I would continue, because I think their intention more than anything was to make sure that I was not disturbed with my studies. So that's how I ended up in Thandi Seminary. I was 12 years, going for 13 years. I was so young, I didn't know a thing. And you know, here am I in this place, far away from everything. We used to call it a prison, because once you are inside, You will only go out when school closes in the next quarter. But wow, what a shaper. What a
Yes.
shaper. No, what a shaper. Anything that is called discipline, independence, I learned there. Values, I learned there. You know, I really could write a book, you know, and I've still got a few of my sisters. It's amazing how we have kept in touch as a member. Yeah, member. Yes. So yeah, now and again we keep in touch, and you know, there's those annual gatherings that, you know, so yes, I am a member through and through, and I'm a proud member.
I like that, and I really like what you guys do, which is something that I'm noticing a lot of people that went to those kind of schools, like I went to Watangezwa, people that went to Nkamane, people are now back into the school just to make sure that legacy stays alive. I think education is important. Ubaba uMadiba did say ukuthi impela education iyona weapon eyosilekelela ukuphuma kwi-poverty. So maybe I should actually take this opportunity today to encourage everybody to look back where they matriculated, what is happening in those schools, so that they can actually contribute to making sure some future generations, they benefit from iy'kole zethu. And then Swami waqhubeka ke wafunda, you are an advocate. Hayibo isifundiswa. Awuxoxele
like you have said, I mean, education is key, is the key basically, and that's what we teach kids. My grandmother was a teacher, and she became umhloli. You know, I come from a background of people who liked to be educated. They were educated themselves. So one was always looking up to them, basically. Yes, so after Ananda, which I finished my standard 10, we used to call it the today grade 12. So yes, then I went for my first degree. So I basically became a Durbanite, because then I went for I got my first degree at Durban Westville, and I went for my senior degree at University of Natal then. They call it UKZN nowadays, up at Howard College, to do LLB. And that's when then I then pursued law. It's interesting. It's interesting, me and law, because I used to love history, you know. And there was this notion that, you know what, if you love history, you'll be good at memorizing cases, case law, and all of that. Then I fell for it. I went into law. But when I did my articles, I realized quite quickly, sort of, you know, going to court, being an attorney, representing people, it's not my thing. I love law, I love its principles, but just being an attorney and, you know, was just not for me. Appearing in court, I did that a few times, and I was very sure that, no, it's not for me. Then, so I branched quickly into, yes, law, but corporate law, okay? But then I had to make sure that I finish and get admitted. So I finished, though I realized even before I was admitted as an advocate, but I made sure I finished what I was doing. I got my admission as an advocate. So then when I continued, I was already an advocate. But honestly, after I did my articles with the law firms, my employment was never, you know, that route. I went corporate. I went direct corporate. But when I went corporate, I was a legal advisor, you know. So it was still within the law space as a legal advisor. Interestingly, when I became a legal advisor for Treasury, Provincial Treasury here in KZN, I used to do lots of opinions for procurement, from the procurement arena. So that's how then each and every time I found that each and every engagement that I have as a legal advisor at Treasury, it related to procurement issues. So and I took it upon myself to have interest around this commercial aspect, commercial aspects, procurement, and all of that. And an opportunity came for a governance position in the department, and I got it, And then that's when I realized that, what, this is a different sphere from the pure law that I was doing. So I registered, with UJ for now, procurement. And I'm sharing this story as a Zodo to encourage people that it's never too late to change.
Of course.
The fact that you make a decision to follow a certain path doesn't mean you cannot change to another. And most oftentimes, I always say, it's important to do what gratifies you, what you feel that you are passionate about. So as I mentioned earlier, I realized that law appearing in court was not for me. So I made a decision. So it didn't matter that I had done my legal qualification and all my 5 years to be qualified as an advocate. I started afresh. I basically started another career, and because I went and registered at UJ, and then I then went when I was when I moved from Treasury to Transnet. And when I was at Transnet, I also registered for SIPS to do a diploma in procurement and supply. It was another 2 years completely, and I got that diploma. And then I became head of governance of the procurement function. So all I'm trying to say is that I found my feet in terms of passion after I qualified. And that didn't derail me from changing career paths, you see. And I did that because the nice thing about law is that, as you would know, everything today is about being able to interpret the legislation that applies, because everything that we do, there's legislation that applies. So it was not a loss for me that I branched into commerce, because I'm still using, and my legal background comes very handy in everything that I do anyway.
Yeah. I like that so much.
That's how I.
All right, thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's important for our viewers to actually even have that appreciation, as you were saying, that you can always change as long as it's still within your passion and it's still located to something that will add value to whatever that you are doing. And of course, no.
That I can't lie. Yes, equip yourself.
Yes, it's very important for
wherever you want to go, equip yourself. Even if you think you know, equip yourself still to be the best in that area.
I like that. Equip yourself to be the best in whatever else that you decide to pursue. Yes. I love that. Equip. The word E is part of my pedal story. I have written an article on pedaling.
Oh, wow. I have to see that article. Wow. I'd love to see that.
It's about making sure that you are properly equipped. You touched on your time or stint, because you were there for quite a while. Treasury, it was a few of you, the African ladies, and you were like, yeah. I know, sis mafikile. They're in charge and they're in control. So do you want to just touch a little bit, and I'm saying this just to, encourage someone who is looking into the whole space, say procurement, supply chain, what is it that is involved when you are working in that kind of space? So, just tell us a little bit about your time at KZN Treasury.
Okay. So, like I said, when I went to Treasury, really it was being a legal advisor for the department, and I worked with the HOD, the head of department. And that's when everything, obviously, that is legally related would come to the HOD, and he would give it to us. I was working with Usizam Tetwa at the time, Advocate Usizam Tetwa. We were both legal advisors for the department. So it is really through getting departmental work, departmental opinions for supply chain. And at the time, it was just called procurement. The beauty and the advantage that I had was that whilst I was at Treasury, National Treasury started to issue legislation governing procurement through their Treasury regulations. The legislation that was governing everything that has to do with buying, anything that was to do with procurement, procuring of goods and services. So I happened to be part of the team that was rolling out legislation from National Treasury to the departments. And so that's how I learned. And the wonderful thing, and I'm really encouraging people to register for supply chain management, because at the time I was at Treasury, we never had courses for procurement and supply or supply chain. You would never go to any university and say, I've come to register for supply chain management, because it was just considered as, I mean, you're buying. Yeah. But this buying became not just complicated. It said you can't just buy, and I mean, it's not your money where you just go to macro and look at items and buy. You have to consider a number of things. You have to consider commercial aspects. You have to consider the value in use of that particular commodity. You have to consider the different prices that are there. You have to consider its durability. There are a number of indices that had to be considered. So it was not only about buying. So I do want people to know that this is a very formal and very interesting space, supply chain management, as we now call it. We no longer call it procurement, because procurement just talks to you going to procure something and bringing it. But supply chain says you look at the value chain, you look at the demand of the business. What does the demand of the business? What do they require, and how often do they require? And then you are able to come up with a strategy. Which strategy am I going to use to get this? Am I going to use a short-term strategy, a long-term strategy, which is the tenders that go out to the market? Am I going to call for proposals, interest for people, for me to see what's out there in the market? So we now even have sourcing strategy documents for each procurement event. You know, it's quite an interesting space, because then you are able to help the company or the organization that you are in. You are able to place yourself strategically to be an enabler of the company. That the company, every company wants to make savings, remember? So in your planning, you must consider all these different indices so that you save money for the company, but not only save money for the company, you buy value, whatever is of value. But the interesting part that has come is supplier development.
Yes, yes.
And it is now part of supply chain. So suppliers that do business with the organizations, have to be taken care of. So we've also got a supplier development program in supply chain, and that's how we interact, bring in new small businesses to be players as well. And that's the area I'm passionate about.
Yes, now we're getting to the meat of it. So now you are at Transnet Port Terminals. Transnet umgogodla womnotho wase South Africa. I was looking at the numbers and I'm like, hey, I'm a billion, not just in rands and dollars. And of course, as you are the chief procurement officer, there is a port of Durban, which is the biggest in the continent. And then we've got a Richards Bay, and then combined in KZN, that's like huge. And then, of course, we've got East London, we've got PE, we've got Saldanha, we've got Cape Town, you've got Ngquga. So, yonke procurement is done at head office here in Durban. Most of it.
No, so we've got strategic, I'll call it strategic sourcing events. Okay. Strategic commodities, your really big ticket items that are strategic to business. they are handled mostly here at head office.
Okay.
Yes, where we handle it. And mostly what we do when we go out to the market, we go out to the market from head office, but we also go out to the market for the different regions. So the opportunity would be advertised here at head office, but it would then be for like the regions you've mentioned, Richards Bay, Cape Town, East London, and all of that. We run a 16 seaside terminal from Saldanha to Richards Bay.
Okay.
Okay. As Transnet port terminals. Okay. And obviously we run sectors that compete globally. It's important though that people understand that Transnet has got 5 divisions. You've got freight rail, that does your heavy haul. You've got a Transnet engineering. You've got us as the port terminals with our 16 terminals. You've got the pipeline, that is the major transporter of fuel via the pipeline infrastructure as well. So we've got the different divisions, and it's important that you look at Transnet as a whole. When we talk about opportunities in Transnet, do not look at the port, do not look at only the rail, look at engineering, pipeline, and other areas. And yes, coming back to your question, because we run a business that has to be efficient, that services customers globally, we give autonomy also to the regions so that head office does not stifle them. So they also have their own procurement events that they run.
All right. Now coming back to now here, particularly in KZN, Port of Durban and in the Richards Bay, I know there are quite a number of opportunities that people are not aware of, and you've just mentioned the fact that you also have a supplier development program, because especially people who are in small businesses who are keen to do business with Transnet port terminals. Ungabacebisa kanjani dadewethu namhlanje ntambama?
Okay, namhlanje ntambama, what I can say to the listeners and to your viewers as sort and everybody really is that as an opening statement, you are, if you are in Durban, the biggest thing that you see all the time is the sea. We are on the seaside shore, and you cannot miss the big equipment that is there. So the cargo, impahla zabantu ezingenayo neyiphumayo. So cargo that comes in and that goes out via our seashore, it goes via the equipment that is handled by us at the port. But I want to quickly say people should not be intimidated, because that's what we find. People, when you talk about Transnet and they say there is Transnet operation and they show people, you will obviously see a big mixture of equipment. That is the equipment that we use to handle the cargo. But I want to say, do not be intimidated by the equipment. There are opportunities, and everyone starts somewhere, because the equipment that is there, it requires a number of things for it to move.
Yes.
For it to start moving, for it to function, there's a number of things that it requires, from your spares, from your bolts, from your nuts, from your lubricants, because these machines are forever working. So the opportunities that relate, and if I were to put the heavy haul equipment aside, because obviously that is capital intense, I won't lie, it does require capital. But look at, have an interest at what are these machines, the machines that I'm mentioning now, your conveyor belts, your cranes, your ship-to-shore cranes, your rig stacker, have an interest. What is the equipment? What do they call that equipment that is there? And once you know it, what spares? because at the end of the day, there is thousands of spares that people can provide. Lubricants, again, I say, lubricants, you know, when the machine has worked, it goes dry. It's like you need an oil, a petrol for the car. So lubricants are like a petrol for the car. So there's a number of even opportunities that to maintain those equipment, you know. At the ports, we run, the ports is a very safe, averse arena. Nobody goes around the ports without wearing what we call protective wear, your PPE. And that is from head to toe, what you need to be wearing there. You have space, we have space limitations at the ports, and right now we are looking for park homes, you know, and these are a number of things that, I mean, are also like opportunities. So, and over and above, and I always say this, we have the original equipment manufacturers, which is the big companies that provide us with this equipment. Now, South African government is very insistent on localization, and Transnet is following suit and very rigorously in saying we cannot have equipment that only comes from the shore internationally only. So our equipment, we have compartmentalized it to say, this type of equipment, what is it made up of? The first thing is steel, you know? So you will find that a certain equipment, its legs, just for ease of a better word, its legs and arms, you know, can be decompartmentalized. They are made up of steel. Those are the things that you also can provide. Those are the things that you can also can partner with the big original equipment manufacturers to say, this is what I can do. So I must say, Sizodwa, that the opportunities at Transnet do require you to get information.
Yes. I was
You must,
kind of question.
you must get information. You must get understanding. It's not your easy come and go. We are not a generalized business. It is a specialized business. But you then, it requires people who are really serious about learning, getting knowledge, and have an I can mentality. Please, I dare you to have an I can mentality. If uThandi, owayehlala nogogo, ohamba wenza law, and wasuka changed from law to this, and now I'm there in that space. You know, I'm not an engineer myself, but all that I know and all that I apply, I have learned. I have learned while I was there. So you must be willing to learn. So the one thing, if somebody were to ask me, where do I start? Start with Google. Start with Google. Google is the best driver of information. Google Translate. What do we have? The information that I'm talking to you about is on Google. Google Translate, you will get information. We also have partners. I mean, we have your Durban Chamber, we have your eThekwini Marine. We have partners who have our information. You know, we partner, so you can go and consult them. We have our website. Let me talk about the Transnet Port Terminals website. Just for you to have an understanding of the opportunities, just go to www.transnetportterminals.net. And you go under business with us, go to opportunities every day, even as we speak now, Sizod, there's opportunities that are closing, you know, these are quicker now opportunities, you know, and it is good for a person who is saying, I haven't done business with Transnet, I don't have huge amounts of money, I want to start somewhere. Go to that website and visit it every day, because we post daily, by the way. Visit and see the type of opportunities that we require, because that website, it gives you an understanding of the things that we require, constantly, and that's where you start. It also gives you an idea of what these kinds of equipment that I was talking about, these small things that are needed for the equipment. Remember, each and every house, a house you just don't bring a big house. There are a lot of things. There's bricks, there's mortar, there's a lot of things, there's sand. It's like that with equipment. To simplify it, it's like that with equipment. It's got a lot of components, thousands of components that become an opportunity for somebody who wants to do business with Transnet.
Okay, thank you so much. That is quite a mouthful, my sister, but I think what's important is to re-emphasize the fact that people must go out there and look for information and read, people must get,
Yes, yes. And like I'm saying, it's especially for women, because what I found, Sodra, is that women get intimidated and please, the truth of the matter is that these opportunities were occupied by men before. So yes, you will find a lot of men there. Even when you go to the environment, you will find a lot of men. But put simply in your mind, this thing is a mindset. These are your brothers, these are your sons, these are your partners, these are your husbands. So we work together, So, and they are the right people, by the way, to ask as well, because they've been there.
Yeah.
Yes, and information is power. I mean, people do really perish because they lack knowledge. And I found that, and I got Mrs. Zod, Tina, we don't want to ask. As moves, we don't want to ask. You have people that just call you. Just make an appointment to say, I just need 15 minutes of your time. I've seen an opportunity that I think I'm interested in. I just need information. And they ask and they ask and they're equipped. The next time you find them, they'll tell you, thank you so much. By the way, I'm now doing business with you guys. So get information, get as much information as possible. Remember, those things that are easily or quick win, fly, everybody is there. But if you're serious and want to do business, invest time in getting information.
All right, perfect. Thank you, my sister. We must invest time in getting information. Can you just briefly tell us then about the supplier development program, because that will also assist other people, because you might have the information and you have the drive and everything, but there's some things where you need assistance on.
Yes. Okay. So supplier development program is like this. So each and every opportunity, and I like to call it opportunity, not tenders, because tenders have really been a cancerous to the society. So I call it opportunity. So each and every opportunity that we go out to the market for has got a supplier development aspect to it. Yes. It depends by percentage. So what Transnet does, before we go out, we do a market analysis out there in the market for this type of goods or service that we want. What opportunities are there for small businesses that they could partake in, right? So, for instance, if we look at something like, I'm making an example, an equipment that we want that has got different components, we are able to see, okay, what are those components? And in terms of the structure, a car, there's a structure, a hollow structure of a car, there's no opportunity there. They have to make that structure. But then to make a steering wheel, wheels of a car and all these other, that's an opportunity. So we compartmentalize those and look what percentage opportunity can that make. And then we then put a certain percentage and say, you person that we are going to award this tender, we want you to know that 30% or 20% or this much percentage will be specifically for you to develop a supplier. And how they do that, they have options. They can subcontract to that supplier, that 30%, that 20%, or whatever. They can JV with that supplier, but we do require you to tell us how the development is going to work, and we influence the development. And the supply development program that we run has got 4 fundamental things: job creation, job creation, job preservation, okay? It has got rural integration, where we say what are the opportunities in the communities. It has got intellectual property transfer, you know, so that, remember, this person that you are developing can also now go and be a big makulumas like you. So we've got programs, so and over and above having supply development in that particular tender, what we do, we have programs that we do run, and we run these programs via the stakeholders like Durban Chamber, eThekwini Marine Cluster, where we say we've noticed that smaller companies are not able to access our opportunities. And in terms of what we've noticed from their tender documents, this is where they fall short. We are paying you, external stakeholder, to develop the small suppliers in these particular areas so that they are eligible to tender for work with us as Transnet. So that's another program that specifically equips people for the opportunities that we tender for. But even as we speak, any kind of tender opportunity that goes out to the market, it has got a supplier development element. Okay.
Yeah. So very interesting, I think.
So in us realizing that the space we operate in is not easy to penetrate, we use supply development to bring in the smaller guys.
Okay, all right, guys, supply development programs is available at Transnet Port Terminals. If you are, in fact, interested in doing business with the Transnet Port Terminals, take time, make time, invest in learning more about how they operate so that you don't have a challenge. Mase usuyitholile opportunity ungasakwazi ukuyenza kahle. Let's come back to you, Sis Thandi. What are the 3 things that you would say are key for you as a female leader in business, the qualities that are important? A few minutes to sort out the patriarchy, Sis Thandi. So in the meantime, maybe let me just go back to our Facebook page and see if we've got any questions there or comments. I have Usise Notando Zungu lapha, she's just saying Womandla. And Usis Linda Hlongwa, or is it guys? It's a lady. Says it is not late to change. I agree with you. VOH, I think that's Vessels of Honor, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And then Usis Pilile Hlongwa lapha is excited about the supply development programs. We all are excited about supply development programs, and it is something that will benefit a lot of small businesses out there that are interested. Okay, all right, that's just about it in terms of comments and questions. The leadership qualities that are critical.
Yes. Thank you, and sorry about that. So for me, the leadership qualities that are very critical is be honest, be authentic. You know, at the end of the day, we are all human. A leader is born and they are raised with certain values. They grow, they learn certain things like all of us. Yes. So you are not a robot that is there. You must be authentic, and I always believe that I can never live a life, an artificial life, where I portray myself to be who I am not. Mm-hmm. So it's important to be true to yourself. Yes. And a leader must have strong values. You have to have strong values, and especially in the position that I am in, you know. It is a very challenging position. I will not lie to you. You know, I can sit here and talk to you, PP, you know, we've PP'd prayer, you know, because it is it is a space where you need to be resilient, you know. You have to be resilient as a leader, especially nowadays. Also, you just have to have patience, you know, patience not just with people, but with yourself as well. And all of these things that I'm mentioning as Zodwa are very key with the type of season we are in as an economy. We are in a very depressed economy. People are frustrated. People are losing jobs. People are losing loved ones. Breadwinners are losing jobs. So it's important that when somebody comes to me, I am patient with them, because I don't know what they are going through, you know, in as much as they don't know what I'm going through. So we have to be patient with each other. And it's very, very, very important. And we also have to, and this applies to somebody who also is interested in doing business with Transnet, collaborate. Collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. You can never tackle a big animal alone, you know. You have to have a collaboration, partnerships. I believe in relationships, you know, work with others and share information. You know, the platforms that you are providing in Women Thrive, you know, I really hope, because I've seen quite a number of key people, not key because of their positions, but key because of their backgrounds, of their values. You know, you've hosted valuable people. I myself, I'm learning a lot from the people that you host, you know. So be willing to learn as a leader. Nobody knows it all. You are not a know-it-all leader. Be willing to learn. And also lastly for me, which is what has worked for me throughout, I find that the economy across the world, leaders have never been challenged like they are now. You know, if you're a leader now, what's happening out there is asking you, what have you eaten? What have you been eating? What have you been taught all these years? So it's not about how I wake up feeling. How do I feel this morning? You know, it is about seeking wisdom from the one who knows even more than your parents, because he knew that your parents at one point would leave, and he is he's waiting for us to connect with him, and he is waiting to give us that wisdom. So
comments and questions, the leadership qualities that are critical.
Yes. Thank you, and sorry about that. So for me, the leadership qualities that are very critical is be honest, be authentic. You know, at the end of the day, we are all human. A leader is born and they are raised with certain values. They grow, they learn certain things like all of us. Yes. So you are not a robot that is there. You must be authentic. And I always believe that I can never live a life, an artificial life, where I portray myself to be who I am not. So it's important to be true to yourself. Yes. And a leader must have a strong values. You have to have strong values. And especially in the position that I am in, you know, it is a very challenging position. I will not lie to you. You know, I can sit here and talk to you, PP, you know, we've PP'd prayer, you know, because it is a space where you need to be resilient. You know, you have to be resilient as a leader, especially nowadays. Also, you just have to have patience, patience, not just with people, but with yourself as well. And all of these things that I'm mentioning as Zodwa are very key with the type of season we are in as an economy. Yes. We are in a very depressed economy. People are frustrated. People are losing jobs. People are losing loved ones. Breadwinners are losing jobs. So it's important that when somebody comes to me, I am patient with them because I don't know what they are going through, in as much as they don't know what I'm going through. So we have to be patient with each other. And it's very, very, very important. And we also have to, and this applies to somebody who also is interested in doing business with Transnet, collaborate. Collaboration, collaboration, collaboration. You can never tackle a big animal alone, You have to have a collaboration, partnerships. I believe in relationships, work with others and share information. The platforms that you are providing in Women Thrive, I really hope, because I've seen quite a number of key people, not key because of their positions, but key because of their backgrounds, of their values. You've hosted valuable people. I myself, I'm learning a lot from the people that you host, So be willing to learn as a leader. Nobody knows it all. You are not a know-it-all leader. Be willing to learn. And also lastly for me, which is what has worked for me throughout, I find that the economy across the world, leaders have never been challenged like they are now. If you're a leader now, what's happening out there is asking you, what have you eaten? What have you been eating? What have you been taught all these years? So it's not about how I wake up feeling. How do I feel this morning? It is about seeking wisdom from the one who knows even more than your parents. Because he knew that your parents at one point would leave, and he is he's waiting for us to connect with him, and he is waiting to give us that wisdom. So for me, those really are the qualities every day to say, Lord, I pray, God, that you give me wisdom to lead your people, because we are in these positions not for ourselves, but to provide a service. Yeah.
In positions not for yourselves, people in leadership positions, it's not for yourself, it's to serve the people. I just have to re-emphasize that, because I think sometimes to some other people, it does get into their heads, and you're like, Aibo, kahleni phela, angithi manje, I'm the taxpayer. So won't you just chill a little bit and make sure that you are serving the people that you are meant to be serving? Yeah, thank you so much, Sisan. That's quite a mouthful, and of course you have to be patient, as you are saying, and the honesty, I think, is important. All the points that you mentioned, I think they are indeed very critical for someone who's a leader. What advice would you give to Thandi, who's just finished his studies and starting to work, Thandi in her 20s? I'm asking this question for a young lady in their 20s that are interested maybe to do what you do, or who are looking up to you as a leader who leads with wisdom, as you were saying.
I would say to a young Thandi, be selfish with what you want to achieve, because people out there will not make things happen for you. You must make things happen for you.
Yeah. Sis Thandi? There seems to be a challenge with your network.
You can't hear me. I can hear you properly.
Now I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear?
Yes,
Oh,
now.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was not. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was saying, you have to be very selfish about your personal journey.
All
Because
right.
at the end of the day, we may go out, no zodwa, two of us, same day, saying, my friend, we're looking for opportunities. But I know what I'm doing, and your area and my area may be different. So when we get to a point, you must be able to say, my friend, today or from now on, can I just go this journey alone myself? You know, and it doesn't have to do with anything with Uguti. You guys are no longer friends, but this is what you're pursuing. All right. And number two, do not go for mediocre stuff, because remember, you said yourself, Zod, what do I say to somebody who wants to go there? So remember, your head is looking up, your focus is on top, right? So you have to identify people that are going to then take you, and people that you look up to must be those people that are already there, not here with you. You won't learn anything with people that are here with you. So it's important that you then aim for the top all the time. All the time, your aim should be from the top, okay? And I do want to tell young people that, you know, you have all these breakfast sessions where they say, okay, there was a budget speech, there's a breakfast session. There's a breakfast session for this company. There's a breakfast session for Transnet. There's all of these things. I want to give young people an advice. Whenever you hear that opportunity, go to your closet. I need to know what you want. Identify, okay, that breakfast session, I want to achieve talking to Usizodwa, Nosisbani, Nosisbani. And remember, when you talk to them, anyone that you approach, do not approach them for selfies. Approach them immediately to say, Sisodwa, I know that you are in the events, this is what I've seen, this is what I've noticed. So somebody sees what you've done a bit of homework, and come with a specific question or questions. Yes. Okay. So come back from that session, and don't be those who just sit there, take selfies, eat food and leave. Whatever information, remember there are companies who are there. Many of them have brought their brochures, what they do. Listen, young people, listen and learn. So every time you go to these sessions, go and have a mission that this is who I will meet. Let me tell you a story when I was a student at University of Natal, I heard that in Durban there's what you call Beverly Hills. And I said, I can't be in Durban and not see this Beverly Hills, because the Beverly Hills, I know it to be in Hollywood. So if there's a Beverly Hills in Durban, it must be a wow something. Yes. And then I was told by people, no, rich people go there. It's like even the cars you see. So I went and I saw even the cars, they park the cars, they park the car for you, they open doors for you, and people that go there really are pashash. I tell you, I asked Ubab Security, is there a place to eat inside? What yes? You can even sit there for coffee, whatever. I went there with 30 rands because I did find out that tea is 15 rand. Yes. I went with 30. I wore my outfit as a student, my nurse outfit as a student. I didn't have money more than 30 rands. But I sat down there. I watched the people. I was so encouraged. I didn't talk to anyone, Sison. I was so encouraged. On my left and on my right was encouragement. Yes. People that I aspired, would, hey, one day I would like to be like this, So like I'm saying, seize every opportunity as a young person. Okay. And again, the last one, I will repeat it again. Get information. Whatever area you want to pursue, whatever area you want to pursue, I promise you, when you have pocket money, go buy a book that talks to that area that you want. In fact, right nowadays, we've got people who encourage people into business. Whether you buy a Robin Sharma book or you buy one of their CDs, you know, but be sure to keep books that will extend your horizon about what you want. Lastly, choose the friends. Two birds of the same feather flock together. Don't flock together with only the glitz and glamour.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. It's nice to be glitz and glamour, yellow bone, your hair, whatever. But flock with people that are going to challenge you to be and achieve what you want.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's a mouthful. Flock with the people that are going to challenge you and make sure what you grow as a person. And then you must read continuously and make sure what you get information that's going to enhance your knowledge. I'm a selfies. Nothing wrong with the selfies, but there should be more.
Yes.
Oh,
there should be more. There should be more. There should be more.
There should be more. There should be more. So,
I do want to say, though, that it is Transport Month, and I saw that you did put it in your Transport Month, and the theme for 2020 is Together, Shaping the Future of Transport. I mean, transport costs influence everything about our lives. Where you live, where you go to school is influenced by the type of transport that you will get that will be able to make you move around. And from where I sit, the spirit realm transport is moving. Your ministry is moving. So, you know, that's also a very important. So I do want us to encourage each other that in this month of transport, let's keep safe. Let's keep the modes of transport, you know, safe. And over and above the road, we are encouraging Transnet people to use rail, even the cargo. We are wanting people to use more rail than road, because, you know, road there's congestion, trucks, you know how trucks congest the road and the accidents. So we are encouraging people to move to rail. And on the note of rail, I do also want people to look at a number of opportunities in the rail sector now. You know, not the ports that I was talking about, the rail sector as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So
all right.
it's a month. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, for touching on that issue of Transport Month. I think it's important. It's one of the reasons why we have you specifically today. Let me give you this opportunity to just give us a parting shot. You know, anything that you would like to say to inspire, especially young women out there, on how best or how to put their best foot forward during this time where I think there's quite a lot that's happening. Like you were saying, you know, you don't know what I'm going through. So when you meet me, just make sure that you are empathetic and be patient, you know. So I suppose, like I say, in the professional spaces as well, and in businesses, there's a lot that is happening, and people need to be encouraged and inspired.
You know what I want to say, as a sort of, and I think it covers both young and old. Do not be afraid to transition.
Yeah.
Transition is not simple, but it is doable.
Yes.
It is better to transition and make that to make that change, rather than going on where you see that, you know what, opportunity in this space is dead.
Yeah.
I am not happy every morning with what I'm doing. Every day when I wake up, I am not happy. So it is better to live with making a decision to change. Whether you are above 40, I mean, if you are 40s, you still get 2 decades before you retire, you know. So whether young or old, I mean, you've got youth that are out there that are sitting with degrees on things that they did and they're not getting employment. I'd like to encourage them. Go look for what else that it is that you can do. And if it calls for you seemingly to be starting afresh, your qualification, do it. I encourage you to go do it, because we have been presented with a pandemic that did a whole lot of change, a whole lot of an overhaul, not only in South Africa, across the world. But it also has presented itself with certain opportunities, right? And if you wallow in depression, in sorrow, you will not see those opportunities, but they are there. And if they require you to turn completely 360 degrees from this direction to that direction, do it. And when you do that, my encouragement to you, choose that which you are passionate about. You know, that which, you know, somebody, I always make an example with Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah, with making jokes, put in simply, is a millionaire going for being a billionaire. You see? And I can imagine along the journey, many had said, "Hi, Mo, when I go to school, what are you going to do with making jokes?" And but look at where he is now, you know, in the US, making headlines. So that which you are passionate about, use it for the transition that I'm talking about. Because at the end of the day, the journey of transition, like I said, is not easy. But if you are pursuing something that you are passionate about, that passion will last you, will keep you going, will yield results, even if you are not getting money immediately. Okay. So my challenge to people is that, and you're talking to somebody who transitioned. I mean, I transitioned from law, I'm in commerce now, I moved from, you know, and people ask, what is an advocate doing in procurement, in supply chain? But here I am. So please transition, make that decision, and you will see, once the thing is here in the mindset, the moment you accept that, you know what, degree or diploma, whatever qualification you've done, I've tried to knock all doors, I'm not getting anything. Even with business, Susan, even with business. I mean, business have been badly affected, you know, and certain people who come to us for our help, because of course, we do have a fund where we do help businesses that get business with us that are saying, I don't have a startup fund. We do give it to them. But other businesses have come to us and say, I've closed shop, I've tried. You know what? Sometimes the best advice is try something new, my brother. Try something new, my sister. Look at other opportunities, you know. As funny name to Twane Magwit.
Oh, yeah.
As funny name to Twane. And, you know, as kwazi ukuhlulwa intutane, it prepares for winter in summer, for summer in winter. Let's do it.
Yana entuthwaneni vilandini. Oh, yeah, I could not have said it any better. I feel like saying prophesy, mama.
Amen.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, you do have to transition, and when you're transitioning, make sure that at least you find something that you're passionate about so that you can be able to keep going. You might not necessarily see results now, but in the long run, you probably will be grateful for the fact that, yes, pandemic came, there was lockdown, and I was in a corner, but I decided to turn and look the other way, and the other way was where actually probably my future was. So siyabonga kakhulu sis Thandi for your time. We really appreciate you and your time, and we would like to wish you everything of the very best in your future there at Transnet. Let me take this opportunity to say thank you to our viewers that are watching us live on Facebook, and of course, if you will be watching us later on our YouTube channel, thank you for joining us. Thank you to our executive producer, Mrs. Busi Shabalala, and the whole team at Econo Thrive Global. We will be seeing you again on Thursday on our main Thriving in Abundance talk, where we talk spiritual matters.
Oh, wow.
And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Sisi.
Thank you.